Are you living your passion? What is your passion? Welcome to the Luxe Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should enjoy living their best life, their Luxe life.
Hello, welcome back to Luxe Life Discovered. I'm Rick Steiner, along with my co-host Shannon Richmond.
Hello, Rick.
We're ready to try this today.
I think so.
All right, we've got two great guests with us, Gino and Aldo Radelli, and we're glad to have you guys on.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Glad to be here.
Well, good. I know you guys through the chamber, of course, and then through also doing
Beach chamber.
Yeah, really.
Always gotta throw that in, y'all. Always gotta throw that in.
City Beach Chamber, of course, and but also have your products. So let's just talk first of all, Lazer-It. Engraving and printing.
Correct.
So tell me about your company, how you started, and then we'll talk about products.
Sure. So we have two different technologies, actually three different technologies. One of them is UV printing, and UV is actually called UV LED printing, which basically means that you're printing on hard surfaces. Mm-hmm. We can print on slate, canvas, acrylics, all kinds of hard materials, okay? The other technology that we use is laser. With laser, we can do a couple different things. One of them is cut material. Another one is engraved material. So we can engrave on wood, we can engrave on leather, on acrylics, all kinds of different products. Of course, we do tumblers, lots of tumbler engraving here in town.
Shannon knows all about those tumblers too.
She knows about the tumblers.
We might have a whole bunch at the chamber.
Yes. And on top of it, when we can also cut materials. So some people may want a specific picture or a specific shape. So what we do, we cut it with the print with the laser engraver, and then we can print an image on that particular piece using our UV LED printing, okay? On top of that, we also do photography. We have a Canon photography printer, which is specialized for photography printing. So.
Okay. That is a lot of, I've been in your shop, and to look at their machines is like impressive to look at, because it's like, those are some advanced equipment there for sure.
Correct.
So Gino, tell me about you. How did your dad bring you into the business, and what's your role with it?
So I remember it was about 2.5 years ago. I was working, I was actually doing pest control at the time. And we were talking one day, we were back and forth in text message and stuff. I was on shift actually working. And I had always known that my uncle in Central America did pretty much the same thing we're doing. At the time, it was just minus the UV printing. He was just doing like laser engraving with the same machine we had. And I know they had been talking about for years. I know he's told me, he was trying to have him come down here and do it, and have my dad open a business here and bring it to the USA. And like I said, I was working one day and we were talking, and he was like, hey, I want to do this. I was like, okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I quit my job, and that year we went to Dallas, Texas, to a trade show that specialized in all the equipment we were going to be needing. So we went to Dallas, and was it a weekend, Dad? We went for about a weekend?
About 3-4 days.
Yeah, and my cousin was there from El Salvador, and he showed us around, and he showed us, their product and what they used, and we were looking at UV printers and stuff like that, and we ended up leaving there with us purchasing pretty much a laser engraver and a UV printer.
And not a small investment.
Not a small investment. So actually, yes, my brother, he owns a company in El Salvador. He has owned that company for 20 plus years. Like ours, he also owns a family-owned business, but a little bit of a larger scale than Lazer-It. And eventually he became the rep for the company that makes the laser engraving equipment.
Okay.
And eventually his son actually got hired by this company, and he moved to Europe to work for this company. And
wow.
He now represents Trotec, which is the company, throughout Latin America. Basically, he's in charge of promoting the product. And funny thing is, we got into the UV LED printing. Then my brother saw the technology and he's like, "Hey, I gotta have that."
So you picked up on part of his, and he picked up on yours.
Yeah, about 4 months ago, he bought a UV LED printing from the same company, Logojet, which they're located in Louisiana, and that's part of the reason I like them, American product.
Right.
So he bought one, and they're doing both laser engraving and LED printing in his shop in El Salvador.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about what I know. So when I first met them, they were working out of their home.
Correct.
Making all kinds of stuff, and it was awesome. And fast forward a year of knowing them, they have their own business. They're so busy, and almost every one of our chamber members that has a mug or has anything has been done by
Right.
Lazer-It.
Right.
So it's just been amazing to watch you grow, and when people find out that you're a family-owned and ran business, I think that makes a lot of difference too.
Absolutely.
Of course,
That's
we're
amazing.
missing the key piece of the puzzle here, and that's Lynn, the
Yeah.
mom and wife. So
Yeah.
she's the one that keeps the guys in line.
I think so.
She does a full-time job.
100%. She does all the phone calls really, and she does all our invoices and make sure that we have enough product to make sure everything's set in the store, kind of thing.
Right.
What is your biggest job that you've done to date so far? Like for a single product for somebody?
Probably, I would say what Harley Davidson did. Yeah.
Harley Davidson is our biggest account.
And they do that for Bike Week?
They do it for Bike Week. They did it a few times last year. They did one for Bike. I think there's 2 Bike Weeks, right, Shannon? I think
Yes.
there's 2 Bike Weeks. So they did it for both of them last year, and I think they did it one more time just because they ran out of some things.
And you had stuff for them that you guys did that they took everywhere. Everybody that came to Bike Week took
Correct.
something from. That's
Absolutely.
You're
And-
everywhere.
And
Yeah.
actually, we started servicing their sister company down in Tampa.
That's what I was going to say.
in the
Yeah.
Tampa area.
We did 3 stores down south for one order. It was Brandon, the Brandon store, Tampa, and Port
Richie.
Yeah, Port Richie, and they shipped their products from their store down south.
Wow.
So
you get around.
absolutely,
Correct.
absolutely.
And it's all based here in Bay County.
Isn't
so that's
that
great.
amazing?
Yeah, and we have a lot of commercial accounts here in Panama City. We do a lot of work for. We've done trucking companies. We've done real estate offices. Of course, we do the chamber, and we do a lot of not only companies but a lot of individuals. Who want gifts. They come to see us. And we're very glad to take those smaller accounts too.
I think one of the most amazing things about opening that store, though, honestly, is, it's nice to have the people from the chamber come in and stuff like that who have heard from Shannon or from whoever's in the chamber. But I think the most amazing thing about it is when they just drive by and see our sign and they just come in.
Yes.
I think that's one of the most amazing things, most rewarding things also of us having our storefront is people say, "Oh, I saw your sign, I saw engraving, I saw printing." Whether it's small things or big things, I just like that they saw the sign and they just want to come on in. Like I think, yeah, absolutely.
This episode of Luxe Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Steiner Event Group. Steiner Event Group is a national event planner that produces results for their clients. They offer event and wedding planning on any scale, hosting bridal shows, scouting talented models, and producing riveting concept photo shoots to help their clients expand their brands, products, and services. Whether you're a business professional aiming to take your brand to the next level, planning a corporate or private event, a bride seeking to have the wedding of your dreams, or a model ready to be discovered, Steiner Event Group is ready for you.
So what if somebody is driving by and they just need something for one item? Can you make that one item for them?
Absolutely.
So it's not just for all these big corporations that need a whole lot.
Not at
If
all.
somebody can think it, can you engrave
We
it?
can create it.
All right.
I like what Shannon just said there. I think that could be, if you think it, we engrave it. Okay.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about that.
So basically, we have a graphic designer, and we get those orders all the time. Right now, as a matter of fact, we're working on a couple of cake toppers right now. Over there, you can see the piso slate right there, which is one of our most popular items. And they're either, in that example, is somebody's recipe. Okay, so if you have
What was that?
your grandmother or your mother who had some kind of bread pudding that was a family recipe. They bring it to us in her original handwriting, and our graphic designer does all the tricks with it, to turn it into an engravable file. And we go ahead and engrave it on slate. We can engrave it on wood. A lot of cutting boards. People love to buy cutting boards and use them as, little memento at the home.
To piggyback on what he was saying, I think the cool part is that it's all original. There's no edits on our end or the graphic designer. It's all strictly that original handwriting.
So
Every
on
little
that
detail.
slate, that's their handwriting.
100% of it. Every little detail.
What I'm thinking is you need to find a recipe somewhere and write it out like it's yours, so your grandchildren will have
They
it
will
one
all
day.
know better. They would know that Grandma Shannon does not cook.
No, that's not true.
We'll give her a discount.
You're going to say, whose is this? This isn't yours.
So what is your most challenging thing to engrave on that's given you the most, wow, I can't believe we did that?
Well, backtracking a little bit, the reason we bought this particular engraver, this laser engraver, is because number one, is the best machine in the market. And it has an incredible, how can I say that? When it comes to details, it's extremely detailed. So, for example, this Christmas, this lady came and she had bought some speakers, Bluetooth speakers for her grandchildren or children, I don't remember. But she wanted tiny little name tags, about 1 inch.
On the speaker.
And she wanted us to make a clip so she could clip them to the small handle that
Okay.
the speakers had with each of the kids' names, because they all these Bluetooth speakers look the same. So
I think we did that.
we had
out of
never
acrylic.
done that before.
I think it was out of acrylic, wasn't it, Dan?
We made it with acrylics. So basically, we got the acrylic to engrave their names, and the acrylics. Some of the acrylics we use have layers. So basically, it burns the top layer. Mm-hmm. For example, this acrylic in particular was white, but when you engrave the top layer, you're burning it, and underneath that white there is blue. So basically, their names came out blue.
On the Bluetooth speakers.
Uh-huh.
You didn't think about that, yeah.
That was good.
He's got a story down pat.
Right.
So it was. We get challenges. A lot of items that we go. Well, we have to be careful. We had a guy who recently had saved a piece of wood from a hurricane, and he had treated over time this piece of wood, beautiful piece of wood, about so big, and he's like very attention to detail. I want this font. I want it centered right here.
And you're like, okay,
And-
great.
yeah.
It's like, I want to do it, but I'm scared. Yeah.
Exactly.
Those items that you cannot replace.
Right,
You
right.
have to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
And going through the process, which is one of the great advantages of working with us, to be honest with you, is we go through the process with the customer. I would take pictures, I would take videos, send it to my wife, to Lynn, and say, hey, forward this to the customer. Make sure he likes that font. And
that's good,
that
yeah.
takes time. It's time consuming, but we love to do that stuff, Then we engrave a very soft, very light
Like
pass.
a trial run.
Like a trial with no return, mind you.
Right.
A trial, and he gave us the thumbs up,
Good,
and then
yeah.
we moved. But even then, we didn't know what type of wood it is that we're dealing with. Every piece of wood is different, whether it's cedar or bamboo,
Maple, whatever.
or all these woods, they're different. Some are dense, some are not as dense. So we're trying to learn, what's the best way to treat a wood sometimes when you don't know what you're dealing with.
That's
So-
got to be scary.
Oh,
Knowing you
100%,
can't replace
100%.
that.
It was scary. You kind of, because there is no return, right? So
Right.
once
So
you
once you
hit
start,
that,
yeah.
that go button, sometimes I just step away, drink some coffee,
Right,
I come
pray,
back
yeah.
5 minutes later, and okay, it's looking great.
Yeah.
You know.
Another thing, I don't know if you remember, but I think for me, what the most hardest thing, just recently, just maybe the last month and a half or so, this guy, he has rocks. You know, Steve.
Correct.
I think like granite rocks, like
Yeah,
it's like a
it's
granite material
granite.
kind of rock. I'm not for sure what kind of rock it is, but he makes shapes out of them, like hearts or whatever the case may be. And I think he's a church guy. I think he goes to church a lot. And he makes these for the kids or for whoever. And he came in one day because he saw our sign, and he wanted us to engrave on it. And I wasn't 100% sure, so I kind of said, "Hey, just leave it here, and I'll talk to my dad." So we did it, and it engraved very nice. I was very impressed because I did not think we could do it. And since then, he's brought in at least maybe two rocks a week. I think he comes in,
That's
Correct.
something-
and
So
I
cool.
think that's probably the most amazing thing we've done, in my eyes, because I did not think we could handle
Right.
that kind of thing.
You don't know what's going to happen. You know, like I
Exactly.
tell the customers, we don't know what layer is underneath that
Right, it could
layer that you
shatter,
see.
yeah, yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
so it's trial and error. You learn to use the equipment so you can get the result the customer is looking for, and he loved it. Of course, I asked him, because he gets these rocks and then he has equipment to
Shape.
polish them and
Right.
shape them and everything.
And he
Finally,
colors
I
them
said,
too with the engraving. He'll
Yeah,
put
finally, I said, Steve, like, how much are they? He said, well, they're like $200. So I'm like,
Oh, wow.
you forgot to tell me that.
Yeah,
small
right. Thanks for telling me. Yeah.
you know. So, yeah.
That may not want to know that. So just forget I asked that. Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll go back to that
I'll
later.
ignore that.
I'll tell you what I love going into your stores. There's so many things that you think of that I would not think of that I'd be like, oh, I could have that, or oh, I could have that. And I usually come out of there with a bunch of stuff. But
Correct.
it's so
Correct.
neat to see all the things that you can do and that how you have it on display. So I highly recommend anybody going by your showroom and checking it out.
Correct.
It's awesome.
So, thank you. So, yeah, it's, there's really, I don't want to say no limit, but there's so much we can create.
Right.
So for example, right there, you can see there's an acrylic sign, and it's a good example. We cut the acrylic with the laser, and then we made a printout on it. That one has a wedding theme on it. You can see also we have a canvas, or we create pictures on canvas. So, but yes, we can make signage. Building signage. We can make signage for special events, anniversaries, or weddings, and any kind of thing like that. So
Something that I noticed when I was in, they do my wine tumblers. So I stopped in to pick those up the other day, and there's a puzzle there. And it's an acrylic puzzle, and what they had done is taken was it a wedding picture?
Yes,
Like
sir.
a wedding picture.
Of bride and groom, and then cut it into a puzzle, and you can put that. And we're big puzzle people, so I'm going to. I believe David's not. It says find a picture of us when we first got married, and try to get them to do a puzzle out of it.
So sweet. Look
I know
at
that's
you.
sweet.
Oh
I do
my
have a
gosh.
heart. Yeah, I know. It's not going to last long. But the heart, not
Oh,
the
okay,
marriage.
yeah.
We're 40 years into that. We're
Oh, okay,
good,
yeah.
But that's also a really good example, because again, we get the acrylic, we cut the shape of the puzzle, but then you're really printing the image backwards, or
Really?
we
Okay.
flip it.
Yeah.
Okay, we flip it horizontally because we print it in the back of the acrylic. So you get
That
that,
makes sense. I think about
3D
that,
effect,
yeah.
but then you have to put it back on the laser and cut the actual puzzle. So it's
It's an involved process.
It is a process,
it's a
100%.
very, it's a great process, and I love it, because I see all those things as a challenge. The very first puzzle I made the mistake of cutting the puzzle
And then
on
trying
a blank acrylic, and then there was no picture on it. So then I take it to the UV printing, and I had to put it back together because I couldn't lift up the whole thing.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I had to put a blank puzzle. That was like a one-day process for me.
Yeah. Now,
Because
we don't like
it was
puzzles
big,
that much.
too.
I never knew he did that either. I had no idea.
I went for a
Confession
big
time.
one.
Yeah.
you know,
It's a
like
confessional.
like a 500-piece big puzzle. I'm like, I can't believe I did that. But
Oh,
you know,
my
those
gosh.
are the things. It was a trial, and that's how I learned, or how we learn. You know,
Right.
we shouldn't do this, or now we know.
Yeah.
You know.
We were talking about that on an earlier podcast. The guest I was telling that, he's like me. We had learned from experience. That's the best teacher. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes it's good, and sometimes you're like, really?
Yeah.
I did that? But yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the most exciting thing that you've learned about their company and what they do?
Well, when we get our mugs, it's just so we get like the tumbler that's down at the end.
Yeah.
So he came, didn't you just join the ambassador program or something? And he brought a mug, and I'm like, that's awesome. Can you put our logo on there and put ambassador on there? And he's like, yeah, when do you want it? And I'm like, really? So I said, okay, you go around, talk to everybody in the room right now. And how many orders did you get?
I remember that. We were at the
Craft Date 5.0.
Yep, it was a grand opening. It was the ribbon cutting or something, and you had already had a few, I think.
I love 'em.
And she handed me a list. She really didn't give me a choice. She acts like she did, but she didn't.
Shannon?
I know, right?
Why? Come on.
She handed me a blank piece of paper, and she was like, "I'm gonna bring people to you, or you go to people, and I'll bring them to you. And you just write their name down with whatever they want." And so eventually, we started doing colors for different people because we were just doing white, I think, for a minute, weren't we?
Yeah, we did white and black.
Black, and then we started doing different colors for different people, and then it just honestly it exploded in the chamber. I think literally everybody has one except for maybe a few new people, but I think there's a lot of people who do have them. 100%.
They have them, and then they ordered them for their businesses, and then they ordered them for some events. It's it's so nice to see that everywhere. I love it.
And the corporate part, also for the brides, there's other things that they have that was really cool because y'all were at my bridal show yesterday,
Correct,
and we
correct.
appreciate you being there for
It was
sure.
a blast. We had a great time. It was a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Very good showing.
I
It was
love
awesome.
the vendors that came because, everybody was top notch. So, and
Absolutely.
did a great job with their booths and stuff. But like they have I think it's a bridal party. If I'm on a tile, that's
Correct.
like
Correct.
3 tiles across or 4 and 4 on the bottom. And there's an image on there. So it's an image that's, I don't know if you project on the tile or how you do it, but that's just
again, that's the beauty of the UV LED printing. So yes, it's tiles, like you
Just like-
have in your bathroom
Little-
or kitchen,
right.
4.25-inch tiles, and we put them together like 2 rows of 4.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, you made it 4.25 times 4, 18 inches or so, and about 8.5 tall.
Yeah.
And we got the image, and we processed the image, went through the entire thing, and then we printed on these tiles, and it turned out beautiful.
Right, it was
and
sharp,
it's-
yeah.
What
it's
a
just-
nice little
It is a keepsake, yeah,
Correct, and it's also something, you can create your own design for your kitchen, right? If you put a new tile in your kitchen, or doesn't matter what material
Yeah, think
you're
about
using,
that, yeah.
you
Like
know,
a
you
backsplash
can
kind of
put it-
right.
Do you want a picture of me for your kitchen?
Yes, that would be, again, we will give
Wow.
you a great discount on that one.
That I didn't know if I can handle even thinking about that. Walk in and see Shannon's face. That's like,
After a long day of work, you're just like,
Right by the coffee maker.
it's your motivation for the day.
that's true. Yeah, wake up, rise and shine. Yeah.
I love it. I love how people can come to you with a thought and you put it onto whatever they decide to have, but it makes it just a really nice keepsake and something
Absolutely.
that they're going to tell everybody about.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of the people who come into our shop also, besides people who see the sign and people who know the chamber and stuff. There's a lot of people actually who have said, oh, well, I went from so-and-so and they told me about you guys. And,
Yeah.
now they're doing
Yeah.
orders with us. And it's amazing.
This episode of Luxe Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Orville's Men's Store. Thank you, Orville's Men's Store, for supplying the men's clothing for today's podcast. For the absolute best in casual and dress wear for men, visit orvillesms.com. That's ORVILLESMS.com.
during Christmas time, we had a lady who came to us, and her husband is a songwriter as a hobby.
Okay.
And he wrote this song, and he plays guitar. And she asked us, "Can you do something with this?" And we started tossing ideas around, and we decided on a big piece of leather canvas, and we put the lyrics,
His name,
his name,
his album cover, I think, too.
Yeah,
And we put a
the
guitar
logo
on there,
of the
too.
Band,
Wow.
and a guitar, and she just loved it. She was absolutely floored by it, and it was, it's the kind of thing, it's so personalized. Because
Right.
everything we make is centered around personalization. And she was like, wow, I just love this.
I love how
you
she
know.
went into them with an idea and came
Correct.
out
Right.
with
Yeah.
a great
Absolutely.
present.
It was so nice that we made 2 of them. We have one in our shop, and then
Correct.
and then they have one. So they let us keep one for
Oh, that's
us, so
good.
we can have
we
it in the
got
shop. Yeah.
Good.
Wow.
And what's nice too is that you're not locked into certain sizes for items.
Correct.
They can do them all
Correct.
various sizes. So
Correct.
yeah.
We can, we have our engraver is pretty good size, our cutting machine. And same with our logo jet with our UV printing. So there's a lot of flexibility there.
Wow. I'm going to go in and try to stump you on something.
I think it's
gonna be very hard,
We're
Shannon.
ready for the challenge.
Oh, okay. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, they accept the
You're
challenge.
already, you already threw a couple ideas there for Rick, and I'm already thinking, how am I going to do this?
Well, and she'll do it. That's the thing about it. She will
100%,
challenge you.
100%.
Yeah. So, but no. So where do you? What's the plans for Lazer-It going forward? Like, what are your?
Well, I definitely one of the main goals, like at the show yesterday, which we loved it, like Gino said, but some people are like, I never heard of you guys. And it's because we're fairly new. We
Right.
opened our retail space about 7 months ago or so.
June last year.
Yeah. So it's a process, right? We stay active on social media. We do a few things, advertising, giveaways, things like that. But it takes time for people to know who you are and what you can do.
Right. And some of your best advertisement is word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. So that's
And chamber.
That's the chamber.
Beach chamber.
Beach chamber. Yeah. There you go. Right.
Gino.
Yes, I'm learning.
That I will say that's our main goal is let people know who we are
Right.
and what we can do, And also I love for people to know the process, because like I said, we don't take any job lightly, There's a guy right now who works at the bank that we do business with, and he's getting married. And it's been like I'll say at least 12-day process to design the cups, the
Oh, really?
tumblers, the
Yeah.
design he wants on his tumblers. And we're going back and forward,
Different font
My
ideas,
wife will
different
text
designs.
him and he will email us, and we think that finally today we came to a final design, which now it moves into the hands of our digital artists,
Right.
who actually creates the design, and then of course we send it for approval, and not until we get that approval we start engraving.
Right. I like how everything's personalized. It's
I do
not just
too.
like you walk in, this is your 3 choices.
Yeah, 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah. And then that's what it's
Correct.
very, and what they can put on in the designs is impressive as well. It's not just a limited number of options. It's,
Right.
Correct.
so
Correct.
that's huge.
So yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what people really enjoy. They come to us and, oh, you guys can do that,
Right.
I think if you thought you couldn't, you'd still say yes and you'd find a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think you like the challenge.
There was
They-
I love the challenge. There was a lady yesterday at the show who asked me, well, can you make a cake topper but make it light up I don't know if you were there.
I was there. I remember
We
that.
wanted to light up.
Yeah, Gino can come and hold the light. Yeah, no, so
See,
Great job.
there.
I could model it or something. I
Right,
could just have a
As
line.
long as they feed him, we'll be all
We'll
right.
be okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, just feed me. That's all. I don't need money for it. Just pay me. Just,
You know,
or just give me food.
I told the lady, I said, we start tossing ideas with her, at the show. And finally we figure out, yeah, we can do this. And
So
she
you
was
can do
like,
it,
oh my
really?
gosh, I love that, that you could do
Yeah.
that, So we have this little lighting piece of hardware, and you can put batteries in it. So you can actually
Put that on the cake.
put it
and
on
put
the
that
cake,
top. Yeah.
and like I told her, put some flowers or something around it, and then we can fit the cake topper right on top.
Or you could do like Mallory was talking about this morning, do a coffin in the middle. She had
Oh, yeah.
a cake where she put a Smirnoff ice inside the cake. So she said she made a coffin in the cake, wrapped that in saran wrap and put that bottle in there. When the groom cut into it, he found it. So you can still do it at the top of the cake, make your little base and still fill that in and your light. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So see, we've helped you with another idea.
There you go.
That's what the podcast is for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys, can you believe 30 minutes is already up?
Really?
Wow.
Yes, it's gone. It goes fast. And
Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
yeah, it's always good when we have friends in, but it's fun to learn about your business, what you do, what you have to offer, and any way we can promote you. We're glad to
Thank
do
you.
so.
Thank you.
100%. We appreciate that.
Even with Gino here. So yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No.
I'm just here to look pretty. It's okay.
That's right. Well, no, we thank you both so much for
We
coming.
appreciate
on
you
today.
guys. We appreciate you guys.
Well, good.
100%. Appreciate y'all.
And yes, I'm sorry, one
That's
more
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
I cannot say enough good things about the chamber.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really can't. And
Beach chamber.
See, there you go.
and you have supported us so much, and we really appreciate it. We love the wedding show.
Do you
Well,
see
thank
how all
you.
of us are just working together?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a well-oiled machine.
Isn't it beautiful?
It
Beautiful.
is. It is. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, well, that concludes our episode of Luxe Life Discovered with Laser-It Printing. We're glad that they were here today. And be sure and join us next time as we talk with Cheryl Fulcher with Mary Kay Cosmetics. And we will see you soon. Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support our show, leave us a review. That's the #1 way to help this show reach others just like you. Join us next time for another Luxe Life Discovered.